Okay, so I'm assuming you did not watch the Warner Media presentation
No,
that came out the other day. Okay,
no.
so I'm going to kind of walk you through some key
Yeah.
points and we
Hold
can
my
kind of
hand,
talk
please.
about it.
Educate me.
Okay,
Edumacate me.
okay, okay. And because some of this was in the presentation, some of it I had to do a little bit more research on. But basically, the streaming wars have begun. So everybody's putting together their own streaming service. So we have Disney Plus coming out this month, November 12th. So you know that they did the DC universe streaming service or whatever. You remember that came out a while
Yeah.
back? They had all their original
Right.
content, way too expensive, and all it was D, and it did not do very well. So Warner Media is basically doing what Disney Plus did, what Disney
They're
Plus is going
grabbing
to do, and
all
they're
their shit and putting it under
everything
one
putting
umbrella.
together.
Okay.
Yes, yes. So Warner Media in general is going to have like HBO, TBS, TNT, Cartoon Network, DC. It's going to have New Line Cinema. J.J. Abrams just had signed a multi-year $1 million contract with them. So
Okay.
Bad Robot. Um, Warner, like all the Warner movies and everything like that. So it's going to be like Disney Plus, but organized differently. So you're not going to have like your straight verticals. Like Disney, I feel like is very organized in the fact like here's your Marvel vertical, here's your Star Wars vertical.
Right.
And theirs is they have a lot of content from a lot of different places coming in. So it's going to be very different organized. But basically, it's launching in May of 2020. It's going to be $15 a month. If you already have HBO Go, it's just going to move over to HBO Max now. So you don't have to change anything. You're just going to automatically get it. Um, but there will be one that comes out later that's going to be released in 2021 with commercials that will be less than $15 a month and you'll get everything. Does that make sense so
Did they
far?
say how much less?
They did not say how much less. They
It'll probably
just
be
said it was going to be
$9.99.
probably.
ten
But who
dollars for commercials, or pay us an extra $5 and we'll take them out.
exactly, exactly. So the things that they really talked about, the first thing I wanted, HBO Max is what we're going to kind of focus on. So with HBO Max, one of the things that I don't know if you saw the article, they did cancel one of the Game of Thrones prequels with Naomi Watts. That was supposed to take place 1,000 years in the past, and they canceled that one. But they have
300.
green. Yeah, no. That
Nope.
was the name. Naomi Watts was 1,000 years in the past,
Right.
but they have greenlit straight to series the House of the Dragon, which is 300
Yeah.
years in the
Okay.
future.
That I did hear that
Yeah,
information. Yeah.
yeah. So that's going straight to series.
Did I
So
hear
that's
something about the guys or the people who did the last or Game of Thrones the series? They were going to do their own trilogy of Star Wars, and then they backed out of that to do this.
yes,
Good,
that
because don't
no,
touch
no,
my
no, no,
fucking
no, no,
Star
no,
Wars.
no, 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 no. They're not doing this. So this with that because that was actually going to be news, but basically, they had signed a contract with Disney to work on Star Wars. It was like a 10-year development contract to work with Star Wars, work with Disney. They backed out of that to sign a 5-year contract with Netflix for $250 million and to create some of their own content on Netflix. So that's those two different stories. So they're not doing Game of Thrones anymore. They're not involved in Game of Thrones at all anymore. Now George R. R. Martin is taking a very very detailed role in this new TV show, which I think is going to keep it from having what we call the last season of Game of Thrones.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
he'll be very, very much involved. So we're going to be getting more like seasons 1 through 5
Okay.
that we did of Game of Thrones for this House of the Dragon, because he's going to be so much involved with that. Um, I'm going to watch it. Like, who would not watch this? Like, you're going to watch it, right?
Yeah, I'll watch it. I mean, yeah, I want to see what. It's too far in advance for me to get hyped. If you start the
Right.
hype train early, you're going to run out of fuel. So as it approaches,
True.
you build that up.
True. They
Speak-
haven't started anything
Speaking
with
of
it.
that hype train early, you need a right there. Look at that.
Ah, nice.
That looks okay.
By the way, you haven't changed our background.
Yeah, I know. Did we have it? Were we supposed to put it as other?
Yeah.
There you go. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You're
Okay.
welcome. Continue.
All right. So that was the big Game of Thrones. Now moving on to DC news, because we talk about Marvel a lot because
Mm-hmm.
Marvel always has a lot to talk about. So I want to make sure I give proper time to DC and what they're doing to try to fix, instead of just us bitching about it like we did when we watched the Birds of Prey trailer.
God bless. Yes. And I got a few people at work saying, I feel your pain. I understand where you're coming from on
Yes,
this.
yes, yes. Um, so they tried to do the DC universe stream that was solely DC. It was like $80 a year or something. It was way too expensive. All this content that just wasn't as good. So they're going to the DC universe is kind of going to start to fade away from the streaming side of it. It's going to start to fade away, but some shows might stay. So like Doom Protocol, they had mentioned that one, so that one looks like it's going to stay. Titans might stay. The Harley Quinn animated series hasn't come out yet, but so far hearing good things. Kaylee Kuko is the voice of Harley Quinn in that. I don't know
Okay.
if you knew that.
No.
But like Young Justice, Stargirl, Swamp Thing, some of these might get completely canceled and just kind of swept under the rug. Like, okay, we don't need these anymore. But they are going to be having a lot of new content coming out. So, for example, you're going to be so excited about this.
Oh, God.
So Elizabeth Banks, she most recently we watched her in the Charlie's Angels trailer. She's like the mentor, that comedian.
Okay.
You know her?
Yeah.
Okay. So she's going to be producing DC Superhero High, which is based off of the comic series that was focused on like the teen versions of the girls superheroes, but this is going to be like the teen versions of all of your superheroes. And I think it's going to be animated. But it's going to be DC Superhero High, so it's the teen versions of all of your superheroes in high school. So how do you feel about that?
I feel like it should be a Disney TV show back in 1990. Back in 1990. Next up on Disney. And then they pull out the little wand and they try to make the mouse ears and everything.
Yes.
That's what it fucking feels like.
Yeah.
AKA, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, so that one, I don't know if it's going to be animated or live action, but I'm not super excited to see all these characters that I want to see as adults making adult decisions as teenagers in high school. I'm not gonna be interested in that. They do have another show, Strange Adventures, which is kind of the perspective of normal people looking at superheroes and what's going on with all the superheroes around them. But it's the story of the normal people and the bystander.
Okay.
So that could be interesting.
I'm not hearing anything that I'm not hearing anything that
Wait
I'm like
for it.
this. Okay, I'll continue to wait for it.
Green Lantern. So they are going to be setting up the Green Lantern TV show in the DC streaming service. They want to make sure they connect it to the actual DCEU,
Okay.
and not the CW shows. They want it, even though it's a TV show, it's going to be on HBO Max. They want this Green Lantern to lead into.
So we're actually
Justice
getting
League
legit
movies.
Green Lantern.
Yes, it has $100 million budget for the TV show, which is a good budget for a TV show.
Quick question: when's the last time you saw any Green Lantern? Actual live action. When's the last time? This is a trick question, but go for it.
Live action?
Yeah, actual live Green Lantern.
You said it's a trick question, so I'm going to assume that it's not the Ryan Reynolds.
It's not.
I don't know.
Justice League. In the movie where he's actually getting the mother boxes and the war is raging on Earth, there's 3 Green Lanterns flying around on screen.
Really?
I fucking hate
that.
DC because they're horrible. But yes, there were 3 of them on there.
I totally missed that.
Yeah.
I'd have to go.
Don't you dare go buy that movie and watch that.
No.
Scene.
I'm just gonna go look it up on YouTube.
Good. Don't support that.
No.
Go ahead and continue.
There could also be DCEU movies that go straight to the streaming service instead of the movie theater. They don't have a complete plan for that yet, But it could be that that's something that they look into.
Straight to,
Um,
straight
straight to,
to.
yeah, not to the movie theater. It would be
Ugh.
straight only
They're
streaming
trying to do so
service
much.
movie.
You're telling me all
Yes.
this information, and all you're doing is getting me
Yes.
stressed out about all this shit.
Yes.
Because
I gotta inform you. I'm sorry.
you go ahead and keep informing me. I'm just gonna look at pictures of cats right now.
No. That was all the DC big news. That so that was all the big DC news from the from HBO Max. So
Gotcha.
that's
Well,
all that they announced.
thank you for informing me about all the shit I don't care about. Hopefully, somebody out there got some information that they care about.
Come on, like the Green Lantern show was kind of that could be a big deal.
I have no faith nor trust in anything DC does until I actually see something and like something. I don't believe hype. I don't believe anything. They have shit in my bed so many fucking times that I do not trust them whatsoever. So I don't care.
I also worry there's pros and cons because they're going to be doing weekly releases. So we had just talked about this, how Netflix binging is good and bad, but with DC, I feel like it needs to be all released all at once because I feel like with their past 2 episodes in, if I'm bored, I'm gonna stop.
Yep.
So I feel like that could be it. The weekly release could be a downside for them.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was all the big DC news that came. The HBO Max presentation. They did also mention from an HBO Max side that they have like, Friends and Big Bang Theory. South Park's getting 3 new seasons on there.
And South Park deserves it.
Yeah.
South Park is great.
Yeah.
I literally had a lady today say 350. She goes, 350. And I started laughing. I was like, ma'am, do you watch South Park? No, I don't watch South Park. I was like, oh my God, this is great. So I was about to say, you're not no T-Mobile customer. You're the goddamn Loch Ness Monster.
So yeah, I wanted to fill you in on that news, as well as, we'd already mentioned it earlier, but the Game of Thrones writers signed that contract with Netflix, and walking away from Star Wars.
Yep.
I'm actually not sad that they walked away from Star Wars.
Agreed.
I think that it was probably the best decision for them because they can't take another failure with that 8th season, and they know that 8th season is bad.
Really, that wasn't bueno at all. They need to walk away from it.
Yeah.
There's so much shit going on that I don't agree with, but if they make money, they're just going to continue on doing this shit, so all you people that support these trashy remakes and all, one, by the way, speaking of trashy remake, I'm really waiting, and I cannot wait to be able to give an opinion on the new Ghostbusters that's currently being made.
Yeah.
2 girls, 2 boys, and they're actually offspring, I believe, of the original Ghostbusters, or at least a couple of them. So I want to see.
Right.
I have more faith in that than I do, obviously, the female version. Nothing against females. Don't attack me on YouTube again, please, Jesus. But that was. Ugh.
I feel like I haven't seen the Ghostbuster movie. Have you?
The new one?
Yeah.
Did
you watch it?
No, I will not watch it. I actually I watched a bunch of different trailer reactions. I watched people that reviewed it, and I will not waste my time on something like that.
All right.
Are you gonna give that to me as homework, you son of a bitch?
I haven't seen it,
okay.
so I would have to suffer through it first, then give it to you to have you suffer through it.
That's right. I still need to watch Dora the Explorer so I can give that to you. Don't think I forgot that shit.
If you watch Dora the Explorer and give that to me, I will 100% watch Ghostbusters and give that to you.
Okay, as long as you're suffering with me, then I guess we're even. Thanks, fam.
Great. Yeah, no problem. The other thing that I wanted to mention from a news side is Kathleen Kennedy, who is Star Wars part of everything. Her contract ends in 2021. So and the reason I brought that up is because she was the one that decided to bring on the Game of Thrones writers for Star Wars.
Okay.
And now that they have left, and with episode 9 coming out, finishing up this saga, and her contract coming to an end, it's like the perfect time. Clean slate. Have somebody else come in.
A lot of people say clean slate's a good thing, but it can't be a bad thing. I am a Tennessee Titans fan, and we got rid of Jeff Fisher because he was an 8-8 ball. And the very next 3, 4, 5, 6 years, we win 2 games, 3 games, 5 games, 1 game, 2 games. So a clean slate can be bad.
Yep. But yeah, so they originally offered, when her contract was coming up before, they originally offered a position to J.J. Abrams, and he turned it down. He was like, no, he didn't want to deal with all the crap that was going on.
Yep.
And so then he signed his contract with Warner Brothers Media. So he's now working with them and possibly taking over the DCEU down the road and everything. But now with this, with her stepping down, I don't know who's going to be. I wonder if it's somebody that we know, somebody fresh coming in. I just hope, like we mentioned before, I hope they hire someone who actually likes the material and who respects the original, because I don't know if I
Money makes
told
anybody
you,
like something.
right? But I don't know if I told you this. So when oh god, George Lucas, when George Lucas originally signed everything over and gave it to Disney, he also gave them an outline. He gave them an outline of, hey, this is going, this is what you can do. Here's basically a book of all of my ideas and how you can take the franchise and make and continue it on. They're like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And they threw it completely out the window.
Yeah.
So I wonder if what Disney and Star Wars vertical, what they're going to do to kind of
I'm looking for a new start, new beginning. A lot of
Me too.
openings. You're not going to be put into a box. You're going to be able to trial and experiment and everything.
Not
So
only
I'm
do we
looking
have the
forward to it.
Mandalorian coming out, but we have the Obi, and I'm really excited. Apparently, Ewan McGregor has known for 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years he's known about this and has had to keep it.
Hello there. He had the high ground on all of us.
Yeah, he did. But with the next Star Wars movie scheduled for December 2022 and December 2024 and December 2026, with Avatar movies in between, they have a pretty stacked holiday season, but they got to get this stuff going. They have to get these plans in place. 2022 is not that far away, especially when it takes a year to make the movie, and then it takes another 6 months in post-production, and another 6 months in pre-production. So that's 2 years. Like, you've got to get started now. Like, what's going on? How much do you think Kevin Feige is going to be involved?
And I think he's like the cinema version of Stan Lee right now, and I think he's going to continue it for as much as possible. He may not get it as hands-on, but I think his guidance is looked upon like something of care, like a nurturing.
Yeah.
So even if he does step away for not being the main shit show runner, he would still be in the back going.
Yeah.
And I think it's in good hands. They're gonna have fuck ups. They're gonna have more fuck ups than they have. But I'm willing to. They've built my trust to be able to have those fuck ups and not hate them.
Right.
Star Wars did for a long time, and then they fucked up probably 4 in a row. And when they fuck up 4 in a row, you're like, and then DC, just all they do is fuck up.
I know. I was gonna say, so like Star Wars is a little bit.
I heard Star Wars is a little bit. You need to cut this. It is midnight where you're located. Your headset is having a seizure.
Okay. So Star Wars is just a little bit above, like, in your eyes.
A little bit above what?
DC.
No, they're a lot above DC.
They're a lot above DC.
Yeah, they still are on a shit list right now, but they're a lot above it. I wish they would be a little more risky about their where they stand on a lot of things, but they're gonna play it safe because I don't see Disney taking big risks.
No.
With that much money on the table.
Yeah, exactly. And Bob Iger, who's the president over all of it, is I think he's coming to an end on his contract in 2021 as well. So I don't know what they're going to do to replace him, because he's just been a genius buying all these things, like buying Star Wars, buying Marvel, and the way that he's kind of put the right people in charge to help lead it in the right direction. And with Disney Plus coming out, like they're on a great path to make a lot of money. So
comments. I want to see what develops. I don't like getting on hype trains. I don't like assuming. I'm become the old man about get off my fucking lawn. I want to actually see something and hold something and make sure that it's worth a shit before I care. Because I've cared about so many things from movies to video games to TV shows just to be disappointed. And I'm tired of fucking disappointment. And I'm getting old now, so I'm going to pick and choose what I spend my time on. And politics is not one of them.
Except the fact that you trust Marvel and you'll go to all Marvel movies.
I won't go to all Marvel movies. There's a lot of no. I mean it. I almost didn't go see Captain Marvel.
But you did.
But I ended up seeing it. Yeah, but there's if they had something I didn't believe in, I wouldn't support it.
Okay.
But I do trust them more than other franchises that are currently out.
Oh yeah, they've
far.
definitely earned that.
Yeah.
They've earned that trust, and I'm excited to see Star Wars build back up and see where they go in this new direction, because it's the like you say, it's not a complete clean slate, but it's enough so that they are starting the building blocks of a completely new.
I hope they do start a whole new world. I really hope they do, because what I'm afraid of is they'll reach out, they'll start something new, and then they're going to be like, we're going to have to pull nostalgia. And then they have Yoda's Force Ghost show up, or Obi-Wan's Force Ghost show up. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you wanted to start new. I'm afraid they're just going to try to ride that train. I want them to start brand new across the board.
Yeah.
I'd rather... I want to see new shit. I want to see the training lightsabers. I want to see the black lightsabers. I want to see Ahsoka. I want to see...
That's why you're excited about The Mandalorian, is because it's new, right? Like, it's a new perspective.
Agreed. It's a new perspective, yes. There's a lot of things I want to see that is completely... I want to see... I wouldn't mind a KOTOR. And that is one thing I think they're working on right now, a KOTOR trilogy. And you have no idea what KOTOR is, do you? Knights of the Old Republic?
Okay.
It's a video game that was actually great for Star Wars.
Name.
Okay. I think they're working on that behind the scenes. Okay. I think they're working on a KOTOR trilogy with Revan and Malgus. If that comes out, I'll be fucking in. I'll be more... If they announce that right now, they said, hey, by the way, here's a new trilogy coming out. And it's, Star Wars 10, 11, 12. And here is a KOTOR trilogy. I'd be more for the KOTOR trilogy than I am for that. Okay. If they announced a KOTOR movie right now and said it was releasing the same day as Obi-Wan, I'd go to KOTOR over Obi-Wan.
Okay. Well, Obi-Wan is a streaming show, so...
I'm aware, but I'm saying movie straight up. Okay. What I'm trying to say is I would give a shit about that.